Hey everybody, this is Timo from Paddle FYI, and today we're doing a comparison of Adidas's top of the line power rackets, the Metalbone Hard 3.2 and the Adipower. And these rackets may look the same from the outside, but I promise you they are different. And how are they different? Well, that's what we're gonna talk about now. Starting off with the Metalbone Hard 3.2, this is of course Ali Galan's signature racket. It is the same as the Metalbone, the standard Metalbone racket, with the high memory core instead of the softer core on the standard Metalbone. And if you remember a review that I did quite recently on the Adipower Control 3.2, as someone who plays with hard Varlion rackets, it's not really as hard as I was expecting. I still find it actually quite comfortable, and I find Adidas rackets in general quite comfortable. Of course, it has Adidas's strap, which is long and non-cinching. I find myself constantly rotating the racket in order to keep it tight, similar to what Ali Galan does in between points. The handle is relatively short and rather thin. I prefer thinner than average handles, but with this one I would use probably 2 overgrips. Moving up to the bridge, we have the Metalbone weight and balance customization system, which I do an in-depth review of in this video. I'll link here, but quickly in summary, basically you get 12 grams of weight difference and about 5 millimeters of balance change. Note that the weight change will feel a little bit less to the increase in the balance when you take the screws out. There are many other advertised features, but let's get into how it plays on the court. I did my main test of this racket as well as the Adipower at about 25 degrees centigrade, 50% humidity in Berlin, where we're really close to sea level. I was surprised in both the back and the front of the court with the Metalbone. Starting with the back of the court, considering that this is a technical version of the Metalbone line, it was actually easier to manage than I expected. It was not as hard as I expected. Don't get me wrong, this is a technical racket. It has a high sweet spot, and I did have issues managing it in the back corner. But after I got accustomed to its weight, I actually felt more comfortable than I expected with it. Its weight, however, is worth talking about. With a light protector, 1 overgrip, and all the screws in, this racket weighed 391 grams and has a balance of 26.3 centimeters. So not too high of a balance actually. That being said, I would never play with a racket this heavy. And I want to dwell here for a moment. I think a lot of folks are receiving randomly weighted rackets, and I think I want to help put an end to this. So when you order your next racket, add a note somewhere specifying the weight that you're looking for. If you can't put it in when you're doing the actual ordering, most retailers have a place to add a note in the order, and you can specify there. Otherwise, you can reach out to customer service and request the desired weight. Okay, so moving on. So the weight of this racket was an issue for me. I kept trying to scoop balls up in the corner with my wrist, and I was not so successful with that. So then I had to change strategy, and I would basically block them with half volleys, which of course comes with its own set of risks. Also, I want to repeat that though the sweet spot is not super small like I expected, it is located quite high in the racket face. And if you hit the ball in the center or slightly below center, you'll notice that it comes out with much less energy. The weight, of course, gave it a lot of stability in the aerial game. I'm just kind of like blocking balls, and they go quite deep. And when you wanted to smash, if you have technique, unlike me, when you do want to smash, it's amazing. The amount of momentum you can drive on the ball is super easy. Though I'll mention, due to its surface, they say that they have this spin blade octagonal on the surface, but it's slick. I mean, the spin blade octagonal is just kind of like an appearance thing, which looks pretty cool. But that being said, it plays like a smooth racket, right? So all the spin will be coming from the holes and your technique. So don't expect any extra help there. Okay, do you want to try this? Okay, one smash. The Adipower has many of the same features as the Metalbone with a couple adjustments. Specifically, the surface, instead of the Metalbone's aluminized carbon fiber 2:1, it has the Adipower aluminized 15K carbon fiber. Adidas calls this softer than the Metalbone surface, but I have my own opinion on that, which I'll share in a moment. And if we compare the shapes on top of one another, we have a tiny bit more mass in the shoulders of the racket. This is a 3D roughness, and it actually is rough, unlike the Metalbones. Moving on to the court, in the back of the court, you immediately notice the difference when you play with these back to back. The Adipower is significantly harder, and it's a lot heavier due to the higher balance. So we have a balance here of about 27.5 centimeters. The three main differences that I noticed were that the Adipower is significantly harder, that the Adipower has a higher balance, and that the spin blade mold of the Adipower grabs the ball much more. I know everyone says that holes are the main thing grabbing it, but you notice a big difference, especially on your volleys. Just one thing about the Adipower's higher balance. When I first grabbed this racket, I was using my wrist a lot in my volleys. But then due to the higher weight and higher balance, I found myself locking my wrist and using maybe my bicep, my upper arm more than my forearm in order to smash my volleys and do chankatazos. And this worked out much better for me. I'm not totally a power-oriented player, so maybe I'm not the best one to test these, but my style of play began to adapt to what the racket could offer. These are both really nice rackets. Honestly, Adidas have something special to them where they combine this solidity of feel with a comfort. I can think of Starvi rackets, for example. They have this very solid feel, like almost like metal, but they don't, in my experience, offer the same level of comfort that the Adipowers do. I think Starvi's might be a little bit more durable, and there's some other things with carbon fiber issues sometimes with Adidas, but that's one thing that I feel with these rackets. I feel super comfortable. I would recommend them to someone who's looking for a little bit harder touch with this combination of comfort. All right, thank you so much, guys. This has been fun. If you guys are interested in reviews like this, please give me a subscribe. Help me help you. There's a lot of relationships I'm trying to build with racket makers and with retailers, and they often check my credibility by seeing how many subscribers I have. So if you're able to do so, please help me out. We have some really cool stuff coming along, guys. Looking forward to continuing the journey with you. Cheers. Bye. Good point.
Okay, 1-0, second serve. Oh! Mini break. No.